Joe Rogan signed another deal with Spotify. Allegedly, it's valued at $250 million. I want us to dive deeper. I want us to look at the mindsets that allow Joe to be the person he is today and achieve this level of success. When you want nothing is when you get everything. We can use all of these principles to level up our lives or businesses instantly. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Bogdan and I've helped both beginners and multimillionaires level up their businesses. Now, something that really stood out to me from his interview with Lex Fridman, he always knew how to move with life. He had this feeling, this conviction that he should follow his intuition, follow his passions, the things that make him happy. And what's interesting is that he did that no matter what was happening around him. When he started his podcast, most of his friends said, "Why are you doing this? It doesn't make sense, right? You only have like 2,000 people listening in." But Joe believed in it. And it was fun for him. He was just doing consistently what was fun for him. But it's challenging sometimes to follow our hearts because it doesn't always lead us to something we love, to something we prefer. I'll give you an example of that. Tony Robbins got massively screwed by one of his partners and lost most of his money. This was happening, I think, when he was like in his 30s. But he didn't despair. He used that event to create Date with Destiny, which actually became one of his best programs and most successful programs ever. Now, looking back, you might say that without the partner screwing him over, he wouldn't have had the mental space or the conviction, the decision to create this new program. And looking back, if you look at your life and every quote unquote negative thing that ever happened, and you realize that it always opened the door to something better, you realize that it doesn't really matter what happens. Whether it's positive or negative, and in many ways the negative ones, the negative events, help us grow much more than anything positive that could ever happen. So when you have that realization, then you can enjoy the confidence, the beauty of following your passion, following your intuition, just like Joe does consistently, without being negatively affected by what happens if something negative happens. Think of it this way. He's had multiple episodes, or rather multiple instances when people tried to cancel him, right? If he didn't have this hugely successful podcast, he wouldn't have to deal with this negative aspect. So following your heart, doing what's fun will lead you to negative experiences. The trick is, the beauty is to not allow that negative experience to define your life. Same thing happened with Shane Gillis. He just kept being Shane, and now he's recently featured back into Saturday Night Live, right? So follow your heart to the best of your ability until you can do it no longer. This is something I actually learned from Bashar. Let me know in the comments if you know about Bashar and if you're familiar with the work that he's sharing. Now, let's look at something else. Joe was never afraid to speak the truth. This is actually how he became famous. He became famous or rather through the Carlos Mencia controversy. If you look at your favorite comedians, most of them actually had this controversy where they just said what they felt, they believed was true and was very authentic to them. There's a saying, you can be controversial as long as you're right. You can be controversial as long as you're right. Right, so two elements in terms of, let's say you're looking to expand online. And this is literally what I'm doing right now through this video, right? I'm connecting the known to unknown. This is a principle for YouTube, right? Most of you watching this, you've never ever seen my face, and you probably wouldn't have watched any of my videos if the topic wasn't about Joe Rogan. Similarly, Andrew Kirby, he started talking about stoicism because his channel wasn't really taking off. And when he started talking about a topic that a lot of people were interested in and bringing his own twist to it, his channel blew up. So, in your business, could you find topics or people that a lot of people already know, and stir up some conversations around that topic to amplify your reach? Or even better, say something controversial as long as you're right, as long as you know deep within that you are right. And Joe was never afraid to speak his truth. If he believed in something, he would say it no matter what, even at the cost of losing managers, losing relationships, or being hunted down by the media back when COVID was a thing. So don't be afraid to speak your truth. And if you want to reach more people, find topics or people that are already known that you can bring your own twist to. Now, number 3 comes with a caveat. Yes, Joe works incredibly hard, but there's a reason why he can put in that level of work and others cannot. And the reason is very, very simple. You look at him, he's very fit, he's always hitting the gym, always doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, always training martial arts, and he always is full of energy for his episodes. But that ties to number 1. He works so hard because he really loves what he's doing. When the work becomes the reward, that's when you become unstoppable. When you love what you're doing so much that you would rather work than take the weekend off, not many people can compete with that. So your job is to find the intersection between what you love and what the work can be, and spend more and more and more time in that cross section between what you love doing and the actual work until they actually become one. And that's exactly what Joe did. He didn't start out doing work that he loves. I mean, he was hosting Fear Factor, and he mentioned several times that he actually hated the job, but it paid the bills, and not only paid the bills, but gave him a lot of financial flexibility so he can focus on the things that he loves doing. So sometimes, yes, you might need to kind of eat the frog until that transition is complete between what you love doing and the actual work. Here's the reason why the majority of people do not find this sweet spot. We have this weird belief inside, at least in my case, when I was in high school, my dad asked me, what college do I want to go to? And I said, I don't know. The truth is, I did know. I was super passionate about martial arts, but I didn't believe I could make a living out of it. A lot of us know what is the work that we would absolutely love doing any day of the week. But the problem is, we don't believe that that work is valuable enough. We don't have proof, right? Yes, sure, other people can make a career out of playing piano or painting or coaching, but not me. I don't think I'm good enough. This belief of not feeling good enough will not allow you to make this transition between doing work because you have to do it and doing work because you absolutely love it. And you're stuck being just like everybody else, because the leaders, the top 1%, they absolutely love the work. They would rather work than be on vacation. And sometimes their spouses would like, oh my God, you're working all the time. Why don't you take a break? This is what you kind of want, right? But with this belief of not being enough, if you think that that level of work or you being in that position is not going to be valued by other people, it's not going to happen. So address this belief of not being good enough first, and then you will see the two merging together by themselves. Something that Joe is an absolute master at and is extremely unique in the comedy scene is that he always, always, always shares the spotlight and elevates everyone around him. Every single one of his comedian friends that attended the podcast, every single one of the scientists, the celebrities even that were on the show experienced the Joe Rogan effect, where like everybody knew who they were, and their career just leveled up instantly after just one meeting on Joe's show. So the fact that he always shared this and had this huge abundance mindset that if I give, it's just fun and it feels good. And I don't even think that he was thinking, okay, if I have this person on and this person on, I'm gonna get something out of it. Why? Why did he think that way? Because the work was the reward. He got so much joy and so much fun from just doing the work and doing things that he was interested in that he didn't care whether he was getting something back. And that is tremendously attractive. When you don't care about getting something back, you become magnetic to people, to your audience, to potential clients, to a relationship that you want. That is a state of freedom. That is true state of freedom. Because we all chase financial freedom, but what we don't realize is that what we're really chasing is inner freedom. And that's the first step to having that inner freedom, not needing anything. And it really, really helps if you're doing work that you love. And being grateful that you get to pay your bills and you get to put food on the table, it gives you peace of mind, right? Instead of this constant chasing after something. That's kind of the paradox. When you want nothing is when you get everything. And that's literally what's happening with Joe. So share the love, enjoy your work, enjoy your life as much as you can, and you're going to see life giving back to you more and more and more. And this is point number 5. He got off of YouTube because of all of the restrictions. Oh, you cannot talk about this, you cannot talk about that. And he chose Spotify because they allowed him to be himself, to be Joe, and talk about the things that matter to him. Even when people were trying to cancel him, he still prioritized his freedom. He had still a positive mindset of whatever happens, happens. If all of this is taken away from me, fine. I'm still gonna find a way. I'm still gonna do what I love. It's not gonna be the end of the world, right? And he's always like, I never expected this thing to be so big. Anyway, so who cares? When you prioritize your freedom, your state of being, and not allow any external event to dictate how you feel, that's also exceptionally, exceptionally magnetic, because nobody around you is doing that. We all get tripped up when something negative happens. So that's part, like, if you want to be unique in your industry, in the marketplace, master this mindset of prioritizing your freedom, and you will be surprised of what happens. I'll give you a concrete example of this. In my case, when I prioritized freedom and I chose to be confident and not care about what happens, I always got insane results. Bigger clients, unexpected opportunities, things just happened. And whenever I forgot about it, my business just went down. I feel like true self-mastery is mastering choice, choosing how you want to feel, no matter what happens. If you've enjoyed this, you can also check out this video where I react to some billionaire TikToks.